Hey guys, Salut, tous. Today we're going to play around with Mokume and a mica shift, and I'm going for a Venetian kind of vibe, a Venetian glass kind of vibe. As you can see from the photos in the intro, my prototypes, for those I used Cernit turquoise green, but I'm not going to use it in this now because I already have 2 pieces. I don't want more. I use Cernit gold and obviously translucent. And for those 2, I also use the gold metal foil. But now for this one, I'm going to change the colors up, I believe. And I'm going to use this Cernit, this duck blue. And I'm going to use Cernit silver. And I'm either going to use the silver leaf or I'm going to use the gold leaf. I don't know. I'll figure that out when we get there. But what you do need is a texture stamp. Okay, now this texture stamp I got in a pack of 4 from Temu. This has a big defect area. Actually, all 4 of the stamps have defects. Anyway, I just marked it out so I know where not to put the clay. Okay, so that's what you need, a texture stamp, foil, and clay. So right, I'm going to condition this. This is years old. Condition this really well. So for my base color, I'm going to roll this out on a number 4. This is going to be rolled out on number 8, and then I also need 3 squares of translucent, also rolled out on a number 8. All right, so I'll prepare my clay, and we'll come back and we'll get into it. Okay, so I have my translucents here rolled out on a number 8. My gold as well, a Cernit gold is mixed with half and half translucent, also on a number 8. And I cut these out with the square cutter. This is roughly, this is 5 centimeters. Basically, it will accommodate this area of my stamp here, minus that black bit. Okay, so that's that. And I decided to go I decided not to go with the duck blue. But what I went with instead was this, the Sculpey Premo Spanish olive. But I mixed it with this Imperial Emerald from Meyspring. I love Meyspring mica powders. I absolutely love this one. But on its own with translucent, it's a bit dark. So I thought I would just kind of darken up my green. I really didn't want a metallic or a pearl background, but I'm going to have just a little bit of a sheen because where there's no translucent, I'm using this. Light can't pass through, so there we go. But anyway, so that's what I did. What I did was I just took a bit of clay, pressed it flat in my hand, dipped it in the bag, blended, mixed all the pigment in, another dip, mix, and another dip. So I had 3 dips into this. Okay. Okay, so that's the color. Right, so I'm going to actually put these aside just now. Oh yeah, sorry, this is on a number 4. I'm going to put these aside for the moment because now we're going to tend to the stamp and the foil. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a bit of my foil. I'm going to place it into my stamp. And I don't want too much foil or you can't see the design as much. And I'll show you now some examples. Just using a brush to get it in. I'm going to wipe some of this away. A bit more. And a little bit more. And you can get it into the stamp. And I'm going to brush some off. And I know this is still too much. I'll show you now. See, the reason why I'm doing this is because when I did my first one, this is my very, very first one, you can see here where See there, it's, oops, you can see the line. I don't want a line. I want just kind of a gradual kind of a foil. I don't want a solid stop. And with this one here, it's another one that I was playing with. I still have a lot of translucent to take off. But see, I got too much gold under here. So you can't, this is actually on white. I got too much gold, so I really didn't like that effect. So what I'm trying to do is get some there that's the same pattern as the pattern's going to be, but just a little bit less, and then there's no stop and start. There's no straight edges. If that makes any sense. I think that's a bit better. A little bit less, actually. Okay, so I'm happy enough with that. Yeah, I just don't want to stop and start. I don't want too much. I don't want any, you know, I want it to kind of blend in with the pattern. Okay, I'm gonna put these little pieces back into the bag. All right, now for our clay. Now, I've had these leaching. I find when you're working with really thin clay, especially Cernit translucent, you really want to leach it a little bit. It's just much easier to work with. Okay, so I leached it for like maybe 1 minute, and then I just left it laying flat on that. Now I can feel this is a bit stickier, so I'm going to place this down on that. Give it a good push in. Now, I'm going to place that on the green because I want the green, translucent, and then the foil. Again, although this is going to be a little bit dark, the back, it should add a little bit of a shadow, hopefully a little bit of a shadow, which will add to the floating effect. So let's just get that down. Peel off our stamp. Okay, I'm just going to pat that down. And I do have I'm just going to rub that off. I don't like that little sharp line. Okay. Yes, it was this way. Okay. All right. Now we want to do another layer of translucent. This one, get my roller actually, and roll. And what you don't want is any air pockets, and I can see one there. So all I'm going to do is take my needle tool and give it a pierce in there. I'm just going to pierce a few places. This is going to get quite compacted and burnished, so I'm not worried about. You won't see these holes after. Okay, and give it another roll. Okay, I think that's all right. No, I'm not. I'm gonna make sure it's extra flat. Okay, I can see another one. This is the problem with working with clay very thin, is that you will get little pieces trapped, little air bubbles trapped. Okay, so now we're going to go for our gold on a number 8. Now, I didn't mention, I put this through the pasta machine numerous times so I can get all the mica particles laying flat, because that's what's going to give us the mica shift. Okay, and then finally, our translucent. And again, I'm going to put the stickier side down, so this is the top part is not so sticky, so it will help not sticking inside my stamp. Although this stamp is silicone, it's not going to stick anyway. Okay, don't mind that. All right, I'm going to give this a good burnish just to make sure it's all nicely stuck to each other. I'm just going to get my steel soap, give it a good burnish. Make sure all the layers are nicely adhered to each other. Make sure there's no air pockets, and I think I see one right here. Try that again. Okay, because at this part you really don't want any air bubbles because it will show up. Where was it? It was this way, wasn't it? Yes, so I want to put it up here. So I'm going to put it that way. Now, bring that up. Again, I want to miss my hole here. All right, anyway. Okay. Normally I take my sponge and give it a roll, but I'm just going to do it this way. And you know what? I am going to get my sponge. Hold on now. Take this up. Make sure it doesn't move. Put it down. Find my sponge. Here it is. Again, I really like using this. It really gets the clay into the recesses, and it doesn't stick, and the clay then doesn't stick to your roller. And then it doesn't let it just doesn't move on the stamp either, so you don't get a double impression. Okay, that's probably good enough. Now these sponges, you have to put them back into the bag right away. You don't want them to dry out. All right, now let's see what we got. And it's looking pretty good. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is shave off the translucent. Okay. Now, if you wanted, you can save your shavings, but I really don't have anything to save it for. Okay. So I'm just going to shave. I'm going to take my time, and I'm going to go into fast forward because I don't want to mess this up. Okay, so there we have that. Now I'm going to get a piece of paper. Oh gosh, a piece of paper, and I'm going to give this a good burnish, starting with my steel soap. This is a good way to start a good burnish, but it's not a good way to finish a burnish because it's not flat. So you are going to get little ridges in it, even though you can't really feel it or see it with your finger, but you will if you're going to sand and buff it like I am. Okay, now I think I'm going to see what's, I think I'm going to put it on this. And here I'm going to have a lot of the, gosh, I don't know now. I don't know. Where's another blade? Gonna have it going like this. So I'm trying to find a good position. I think that's maybe good. So what I'm going to do actually, this is my new thing. I'm going to cut off my excess. Because I find, again, sanding and buffing, when you do it this way, when you put your stamp in, your cutter in, it's going to leave a little bit of a bulge. And when you're sanding and buffing for a perfect finish, it is actually quite hard to get a perfect finish. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this upside down. Let's see, if I cut out the basic shape here, then I know I'm in the right place. Oh, I think this green's going to look, pardon me, I think this green's going to look nice with the gold. Okay, so concentrate on this area up here. So I'm going to flip this around. There's a bit of an indent. That's going to come out with the sanding, I'm sure. Okay, now I'm going to position this here. And now we cut it. So now this is nice and flat, and the back has the bulge. Voila. It's going to go like that. Okay, I'm debating now whether to dome it or not. I'm not sure. Actually, it doesn't look too bad there at all. Anyway, it's fine. I think I'm going to dome it. So just give me just 1 minute. I get my dome. Okay, my dome's a little dirty, so I'm just going to give it a quick wipe with some rubbing alcohol. You don't want to use a baby wipe or anything like that. You want to use alcohol on this so the clay will stick to it. Again, this is a silicone egg poacher. It's very old. There's a little fly that keeps coming around here. It's not here anymore. And position this on my dome. Does that look even? Yeah, it's even. Okay, I'm happy with that. All right, so I'm going to put this in the oven. It is a bit thick. I'm going to put it in the oven on 130, which is Cernit's recommended temperature, for, oh, I'm going to put it in for an hour. Okay, I just want to come on real quick and just show you how I cure my stuff. This is an old baking pan, or just an old glass casserole, whatever. And because I have a lot of translucent in this, I do want to tint it. So all this is some aluminum foil, and I'm just putting it over like that. And you can, if you see if I can lift it up, you see it's not actually touching. There we go. It's not actually touching the piece. Okay, but therefore, if there's a temperature spike, then you're going to protect your piece, and it's less likely to scorch. And again, as it's the translucent, we don't want it to scorch. Okay, so I will come back after this is cured and sanded. I'll sand all night, and then we'll come back and put a backing on it. Okay. Okay, to save time, I went ahead and put the backs on these, and I did it the exact same way that I did with my alcohol inks on transfer foil. What I did is I just put wire, aluminum wire, which is roughly about 1 millimeter, I believe, and held it down with a little bit of super glue, and then I just put the clay on top. I'll leave a link down in the description box for that video. And you've seen me do backs before many times. If you're new here, please subscribe, and if you click the link below, you'll see how I did this. Okay, and I decided, I was outside. This actually looks completely different outside in natural light than it does here, especially under the camera. It's growing on me now. I like it a lot better. But I want to point out something quite important. I don't know why I said we just shave off the translucent, because these were a lot to sand. You can see this is my first two blue ones that you saw, or the turquoise ones you saw in the intro. You can see the color here. You can see the color coming through, the base color. The black here. You can see the black. You can see the base color coming through. Here you can't. I know it's white and translucent. It's very difficult anyway with Cernit. But you can see here, look, there's no base color coming through at all. So when you're shaving, you really want to shave down as much as you can to get close, very close to the base color. It will just save you a lot of time on sanding. Okay, so I'll put this away. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop these back in water, and I have my sandpaper. I already have those sanded up to 600 grit. So what I'm going to do now, so this is the second sanding, because we need now to blend in the sides. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my nail file. I'm going to concentrate on the sides. I don't want to concentrate too much in the middle. I'm concentrating on the edges so they're nice and flush with the piece. And then I'm going to, once it's nice, I get it to about 600, and well, this is all flush, then I'm going to continue with the rest of it up until 3000 grit. Okay, so I decided to put use tiger tail and Buna cord. So I've already started this one off. I'm using 0.45 millimeter tiger tail and 3 millimeter Buna cord. And what I'm going to do is first, right, I've got my beads here. I have 2 gold spacer beads and a black faceted glass bead. So here we are. And then this is going to be the trickier part, because my Buna cord is curled and it's not going to want to accept the wire very nicely. Oh, and it's done it. Okay, that's good. The other one was more stubborn. Stop. Sorry, this is my alarm to feed the fish. Okay, so now I'm just going to make sure this is set up, sitting nice, and it is sitting nice. Then we're going to put on another gold spacer bead and the crimp bead. and the little horseshoe thing. Try to pull it as tight as possible. I'm gonna need my light, sorry. I'm probably gonna do the rest of this off camera because it's gonna be very fidgety. But anyway, you put it back in through the other side of the horseshoe. And I've got plenty of extra wire, so I don't want all that extra wire. So I'm gonna cut it off about here. And then thread the wire through the crimp bead again and the spacer bead, and then get it into the Buna cord. Now where's my pliers? So pull this up. And then just gently, whoops. Push this into the, and through all three, or down through. Sorry, my words aren't coming out now. Okay. And then work it down. It's a bit fidgety. The first part is easy. The other side is easy. Finishing up is not so easy. Anyway, I'm going to film with this off camera. But basically, when you're happy with it, give it a close. Okay? So I will be back after this is done. I'm going to give all the pieces a good polish on the wheel, and we'll come back and we'll do a show and tell. They're all finished, bar one. I didn't go any further with this one. It's all nicely polished. I just don't know what I want to do with it for the moment. So I'll leave this as something to finish eventually. Okay, the one we did on camera, I quite like this one. There we go. And there's the back. Whoop, there's the back. Yeah, I do like this one. I wish I added a little bit more blue. In fact, even if I maybe used the duck blue and then added in the Imperial Emerald mica powder, maybe that would give me more of a sapphire-y blue. But anyway, but I'm not mad at the green. The green looks quite nice. With this one, I hope you can see it does float. It gives you because the translucent is layered. So it is quite 3D. Anyway, I do like this one. Okay, and now I'll show you the ones that I made before, the prototypes. This is the first one that I made, and this is my favorite by far. This is my favorite one. I love the color. Here's the back. I absolutely love the color. It's maybe I use my other hand. It's better than that one. Yeah, I really do love this one. And what I love most about it is that there's not so much of the gold foil showing through, and it's the gold foil is kind of laying underneath the gold design, which is what I was aiming for by putting it on the stamp and not just putting it on the base clay. But anyway, and to finish it, I used tiger tail. And I just looped the tiger tail around the chain and then secured it with the crimp bead, or I guess it's probably more of a stopper bead than a crimp bead. Okay, so there's that one. And then the last one was the second one that I made. Again, it's the same as the previous one. It's just that I cut a hole in it and I used a weighted chain. So just a different kind of different kind of design. So that's that one. The only thing I don't like about this one is that I lined it with the turquoise. I should have lined it with gold. I think if I lined it with gold, it would look a little bit more classy. But anyway, there's that one. And then, of course, the black, I didn't go any further with this one. I'm really not sure about it. Again, it's been nicely polished. I may take a section of it because I made a little, where is it now, my doodad? I made a little tassel, so I thought maybe if it was long and in a little tassel it would look quite nice, but anyway, I'm just not happy with the circle shape, so this is a project for another day. So anyway, that is that. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did enjoy, please make sure you give me a thumbs up. Please leave a comment below. That'd be great. Even just a smiley face or an emoji, it would help YouTube push my video around. And I guess, oh well, first of all, I didn't explain the whole inspiration for this this video was I've been to Venice a few times, and I was going through my photos, and the photo that you saw in the intro of it's a window, the shop window, and it's all the masquerade stuff, and that's what kind of inspired this. And then of course the glass then as well. And this one here doesn't have as much of a glass finish on it. What would really make this pop would be resin, but I don't really want to touch any resin, not when my hands are in the state they are anyway. But anyway, so that's that. So again, I hope you enjoyed. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.